Welcome back to Behind the Scenes of the Waltons and Ask Judy. I'm back with another segment taking your questions. If you're enjoying these, please like and subscribe. Here we go. From Jim, he wants to know what it's like to be part of something that has worked its way into the fabric of societies the Waltons has. I mean, you go anywhere and say goodnight, John Boy, and people know what you're talking about. Here we are 50 years later and still talking about your show. That's so true. And it's very gratifying. A number of years back, the cast was asked to do a question and answer panel at the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. That was quite an honor, that the Waltons has become a part of pop culture and that Goodnight John Boy is something that people everywhere can relate to. During one of the space missions, there was a point where I think there was like a newspaper headline or something that said, "Astronauts say goodnight, Walton style." I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. I feel like no matter what I do in my life, having been part of this show, it's history. You know, I'm part of television history, and that's quite something. I don't even know how to put it into perspective, but it's really quite an honor to be a part of something that endures like this. Next question is, how close was your personality to the character of Mary Ellen? There were a lot of similarities. I was definitely a tomboy growing up, have always been involved in a lot of sports, so that part was very much the same. I had a rebellious streak, but I didn't like to get in trouble. So unlike Mary Ellen, who wasn't afraid of getting into trouble, I tended to follow the rules more than Mary Ellen might, and not do things that would intentionally get me into trouble. So the great thing about playing Mary Ellen was that I got to be rebellious without having to suffer the consequences. So best of both worlds. Someone else asked why I never sang on the show. I think that because Jason was really the musical one, at that point in time, you know, Mary Ellen was becoming a nurse and was very much engaged going down that path. So it didn't really make a lot of sense for my character to suddenly be singing in any capacity. Plus, truth be told, I started studying voice when I was about 16 because I found out I really couldn't carry a tune. So during a lot of the show, I don't think I would have been all that impressive if I was singing. It took me a number of years of voice lessons to feel like I was ready for prime time, so to speak, and ready to sing in front of people. So probably better that I disguised that for longer so that I could get all the training in before I actually went public. But thanks for your question. Always wondered why all the kids didn't have red hair since we were supposed to be the red-haired thoroughbreds. Well, in the homecoming, we actually did all have red hair. The three of us who did not have natural red hair, David Harper, who played Jim Bob, me, and Richard Thomas, who played John Boy. So all three of us had our hair colored for the homecoming, as did Andrew Duggan, who wasn't naturally a redhead. When we went to do the series, they decided not to continue to color our hair. I'm not sure if that was just too much trouble. Also, Ralph Waite didn't have red hair, and they didn't, continue with that aspect of our father being the one where the red hair came from. I'm guessing just didn't want to deal with it on a regular basis. Next question is how the cast felt or what our reaction was about Richard leaving. We knew in advance he was going to be leaving. We knew it was his last season, so I loved working with Richard, so I tried to enjoy every moment of working with him in that last season. And it was tough, the last episode, and particularly knowing it was the last day and his final scenes. I remember thinking, oh, this is sad that this is the last time I get to work with him. I understood his decision as an actor. It is it is a job. As attached as we get to the cast, I've done any number of shows that were finite. You know, I've done a lot of theater where you bond very strongly with people for a few months or a few weeks because you're working very intensively, and it's very sad when you separate, but it's a job and you go on and you do other jobs. So that is ingrained in actors as part of the process. So I understood that as an actor, that Richard was going to move on to other artistic challenges and stuff. And so I don't think anybody begrudged him that, you know, he had honored his contract. But, you know, I just selfishly missed having him around and missed being able to do scenes with him. So I was very glad when we got to do some reunion specials and he was back with us again. And anytime I get to see him in person, it's always a treat. So he's my brother. Love him. Next question. Did you ever personally consider leaving the show? No. I decided I was going to stay with it as long as it went because I love doing it. Thanks for joining me, and I'll be back again with more behind the scenes of the Waltons and more Ask Judy.